to a large extent, the advice, that was my role, giving advice. And, you can get advice from many quarters. But from an operational point of view, none of our troops were actually used in that operation. Either to do the first assault, where the helicopter crashed, sadly, tragically, with a lot of lives lost, or, the final operation, they were actually taken out by KOPASUS.
The use of a helicopter similar, if not identical, to the one the Red Cross used, the alleged flying of a Red Cross symbol, and the belief that there was collusion with the Indonesian military is at the heart of the Papuans' sense of betrayal.
Supaya kasih tipu mereka, supaya kami kasih lenyap dengan sandaran yang pemimpin OPM yang ada, Papua yang ada, selesai itu kami mau ambil sandera toh, maksudnya begitu toh mereka.
As General Prabowo considered his contingency plans for a military operation at Gesalima, he would have known that no Indonesian unit in 20 years had ever succeeded in landing a military helicopter near Keli Kwalik. And as the independent investigator from West Papua discovered, the widespread perception amongst those who were at Gesalima that day was of a deliberate trap.
Dan mereka masyarakat juga merasa bahwa mereka heran karena tadinya mereka datang membantu ini dengan baik, melakukan ini, tapi orang barat yang dari awal datang baik-baik itu juga yang datang untuk membunuh mereka atau tembak mereka. Saat itu yang ditembak oleh militer itu tidak langsung kena ke salah satu korban yang waktu saya wawancarai atau saya tanya saksi. Mereka saat itu semua merayap dan akan masuk membubar dari situ, tapi tidak satu pun.
For me, my first information that something strange happened was when I met Mark on the day of when the hostages arrived in Timika, where Mark, in tears, just told me why that white helicopter, and I just was so stunned, and I said, "What are you talking about?" And he couldn't say anything. He just said, "But why that white helicopter?"
I don't think that we say it didn't happen because we don't know. I say that I don't know what has happened. I don't say that things like abuses of the emblem did not happen. I don't know about it. I don't know about it.
Henry and Sylviane, who worked for months together to try to secure the hostages' release, now have different recollections of key events around May the 9th. In particular, their versions differ about precisely when the International Red Cross officially ended its mission, which was followed so swiftly by the military operation. Henry remains convinced that the ICRC mediation efforts were officially ended by him after Sylviane returned from her meeting with the OPM on the morning of May the 9th. The International Red Cross say this press release confirms that they gave broad evidence of the withdrawal of their mediators on that day. It announces that the conditions for dispassionate discussion no longer exist. But the ICRC concede that the earliest it could have been released was 8 a.m. Geneva time, 3 p.m. in Gesalima, the moment the helicopter mission began.
As of the 9th of May, at around 11:30 in the morning, local time there, we were no more involved. And I made it known to everybody.
Did you make it known to the OPM, to the Papuans?
Yes, of course they knew. They knew because...
How did they know that? Because they
knew after the last meeting they had, it was made clear to them that we did not know if we will be allowed to come back.
Nothing had ended. Even Kelly had never said it's finished. Never ever he mentioned that.
And you'd never said it's finished?
No.
You never took the message that this is the last
no.
chance,
No.
and if you don't do it now, we're pulling out?
No.
So they didn't know that the ICRC was leaving, basically, at that point?
Well, the only thing they knew was that we were flying back and we would come back on, at least try to come back on Sundays. Mm. So I don't know how many days it is in between, but I remember clearly that we left them saying that it would be a Sunday. Of course, they have always had behind their mind that the army might come in.
Ini salah satu ibu di Gesalima waktu tanggal 9 salah satu temannya ditembak lalu dia lari dengan dapat luka tembak di tangan.
There have been a number of previous calls for an investigation into what happened on that day, but all to no effect. Now the investigator from the Irian Jaya Human Rights Commission believes that enough first-hand evidence exists to demand an inquiry, in particular from the International Red Cross.
Entah betul atau tidak mereka sampai hari ini kesan bahwa mereka terlibat dalam hal itu. Kalau mereka tidak terlibat, mereka harus turun. Berikan kepercayaan kepada masyarakat bahwa kami tidak terlibat. Jadi kami mau lihat ini dari misi kami sebagai kemanusiaan, kami mau lihat apa yang terjadi ini, ada korban manusia atau tidak, macam itu mereka harus ini. Tapi sampai sekarang ini mereka juga tidak turun ke lokasi itu.
In response to criticisms that it could and should have investigated earlier, the International Red Cross in Geneva has said it lacked the grounds to launch an inquiry, and that informal questions to the Indonesian, British and Dutch governments had been inconclusive. Presented with the fresh evidence, it seems Geneva may think again.
Well, I mean, frankly, you have shed a new light on this story, which I had, again, dismissed a long time ago, too far-fetched. And I still believe that nobody from my staff ever participated to this operation. Now, if somebody put a wig on and try to use the appearance or the knowing about the trust and confidence that the people had in my delegates to lure them and to kill these people, well, I will certainly have to ask again questions to a number of people, but I will do it in a traditional ICRC way, which is a confidential dialogue, and the aim being that if such things did indeed happen, they will not be repeated.
The last few days of captivity were an exhausting nightmare for the hostages. They were kept on the move as their captors played a game of cat and mouse with the Indonesian military closing in on them across the mountains. And the story that white people had been involved in the attack gained a terrifying currency.
What really frightened us is they said there were white people who'd come in, white people on a Red Cross helicopter, which meant a white helicopter. And white people had killed their people, they implied. And suddenly we were terrified, because up until now, white people were the good guys. And now it seemed that there was kind of blood money on white people. And we wondered what implication this was going to have.
On May the 16th, the hostages came out of the jungle after 18 weeks' captivity. They'd stumbled into the Indonesian army in a river. They'd been terrified after witnessing the slaughter of 2 of their fellow captives. The official story, 8 OPM soldiers dead after a battle with KOPASUS, and that OPM fighters themselves had killed the hostages, was never challenged. But it wasn't true. As Daniel Start confirms, the 2 victims were killed by Papuan villagers, enraged by the killing of their own people in the helicopter raid.
Naming abilita na naga kasi mula ba taka binya iye ta domanan kayan me na wa kuina yan ni ma po kana wala yan na me anda baramba siya kala siyan me na rin ta in pewiningan tam na yung giyor yamo no da na yung
After the hostages found their freedom, the situation in the mountains worsened. The Indonesian military launched a major mission against the rebels, which continues to this day. Last year, a church report on just 2 mountain villages concluded that dozens of people had been raped and beaten, 16 people had been killed, and 120 starved to death as a direct result of the military occupation of the area. For the rest, it's still just rumors from the jungle.
Of course, there's a conspiracy of silence in this area. Nobody wants to talk about what happens there. Nobody wants to stand up alone against the Indonesian military. Because they won't be allowed to stay, or because they feel they've got other work that they need to do, which is more important. They've chosen to either ignore the information or to keep silent about it. For the Papuans, whatever they shout, cry or scream, nobody's going to listen. Nobody can hear them.
Humanitarian intervention, a big idea, but will it be welcome in the 21st century? Evan Davis brings the debate to BBC Two next.